So we get high, and my neck's feeling like a rubber band. And Alf, the with the fuzzy dude from Melmac.
The space puppet.
And so I'm watching, and this is the first time I'm high on weed. And I'm like, holy God, this is the greatest show on earth. Fuck, what the hell is going on here? And then I was hooked on weed after that, you know. I got into weed.
That first high was good to you.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to High Rollers. I'm your host, Derek Gilman, and together we're going to explore the world of cannabis connoisseurship. The tools, the techniques, the rituals, the details to help you maximize the enjoyment of your cannabis experience. Today, we are going to explore the art of connoisseur genetics. And here to guide us on our journey, straight from the Emerald Triangle, is Shiloh Massive of Massive Creations. Welcome to High Rollers, man.
What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Great to have you here.
I'm excited as well.
I'm super excited. You have brought a lot of fun stuff for us to crawl into today, haven't you?
A little bag of terps, for sure.
A little bag of terps, a big bag of terps, I'd say, man.
Travel edition.
Yeah. So, dude, you have just been ingrained into that Emerald Triangle culture for decades now.
Well, yeah, pretty much hunkered down in there like a tick, and I've been up there for a while. Spent a lot of my life in other places, but at least 24 years.
Yeah.
In Northern California.
I'd love to know what inspired you to start going down the connoisseur genetics rabbit hole, man, to lead you to where you are today, making some of these spectacular strains that many of us have heard of, man.
This is in maybe the early 80s, and I remember, getting turned on to weed by my cousins, and my uncle had just stacks of Easy Rider magazines, and next to that he had a couple stacks of High Times magazines, and they had some cool stories in them. So.
How old are you when you're crawling into these High Times?
Well, I was probably like 15 years old when I discovered a High Times magazine.
Do you remember any story that just hit home with you?
Yeah, I remember this article on this cat named Neville, and he's this Australian dude, and he had started like the first seed company.
That's from like the Neville's Haze.
Neville's Haze, yeah. It was the early 80s, he started the first seed company, and there's stories of him going to like Afghanistan, and they're like tripping out that they didn't like it because he didn't want to buy the hash or the opium. He's like, no, I want to buy all these seeds. And they're like, what are you, guns to his head? And this intrigued me, this kind of adventure.
Everybody else is looking for the product, and to him, he's searching out the genetics.
Yeah, and for me, I'm just fascinated because I was kind of, like I said, I was into science, botany as a kid, biology, and the cannabis seed just, it contains so much information. Encoded in it, and it's been here since antiquity. So we're blessed with this. Like Jack always said, it's good for food, fuel, fiber, all these things. And besides that, it can change your mind, and besides that, it can provide an income for your family, or all these things in one little seed.
A million things. No, right. I could see. So it was the genetics that inspired you in reading this story about Neville, huh?
It started this about collecting stuff, and then it's like, okay, I'm lucky enough to have a male and female of these, or I got enough seeds that I definitely do, but it was always about preserving that.
So now you have Massive Creations.
Massive Creations, yeah.
Right? You got these neat little boxes here, right?
Cool little boxes, yeah. So these are the seed boxes, 2 different packs.
The Duke's Magic Beans. Who's the Duke?
The Duke's my partner, and a long time ago when I first came to Emerald Triangle area, it's one of the first cats that I met. We hooked up on a certain farm, and we instantly became friends. Kushman was part of it as well.
Kyle
and there's
Kushman.
another, it goes back. Kyle Kushman was definitely original Duke when he first came out here from Brooklyn.
Yep.
You know, and that's a crazy story too, because when I was reading these magazines, you know, before Danko's and stuff, you know, there was like this dude, Chris Udele, he was a pot star before even Kushman really was even a pot star. And I'm like, dude, this guy's in Amsterdam. I'm going to be a pot star, you know? And this is in the 80s as well, you know? And then Kushman pops up on the scene.
It's a wonderful dream to have, isn't it, when you're there?
Yeah. And I'm like reading these articles about Kushman, and I'm like, this dude's doing like the same thing that I'm doing, you know, growing organics and stuff. And then later in life, just crazy how I got into that High Times family. And, you know, I'd go out to New York and see Kyle. And then when he came out here, you know, he came and, you know, we duked up. And that's where the Duke's Mendo started.
You brought a lot of goodies here, man.
Yeah,
So you're gonna twist up a hash joint?
Yeah,
Is
we'll
that the
put some
plan?
hash in it. That sounds like a plan.
What kind of flower did you bring today, man?
This is some OG, and this is some animal mints over here. Let's do a blendo.
How was this? Do you know how this was cultivated? Where it was cultivated?
You know, I'll tell you, this was grown by my friends at Cookie Maywood.
Okay.
So it was grown in East LA, Odelay, right? So
I dig it.
indoor in their facility down there in Cookies Maywood. If you're ever down there in East LA, check it out. It's an amazing facility.
Far out,
There's
man.
a dispensary there.
Stick my nose
And,
into this stuff here. This has a bit of a floral quality going on.
What's your
Super
favorite kind of weed
frosty.
to smoke?
To tell you the truth, I've been growing out a lot of, this past season, I grew out a lot of Mean Gene strains.
Oh, nice.
You know Mean Gene?
Yeah, of course I know
Of
Mean
course
Gene.
you know Mean Gene, right?
He's a good guy. He's a
Yeah,
Buddha.
he's doing some great poly hybrids,
Yeah.
you know, so I had this Northern Lights Haze Lime Pop cross that he
Oh, the
did.
lime pop is fire.
That lime pop is kill. Anything that it goes in is killer.
Yeah.
I got this Ghost OG lime pop that he did, and it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's
What-
been doing it.
What kind of grinder you like to use here?
You know,
It looks
I
like
don't
it
like
was
to
still
spill the weed
partially
on my pants,
still
but-
partially filled.
You know, I like the Santa Cruz shredder, but really what I like the best is those old school sweet leaves. They're steel, and they just got the
little
pins. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of my weed has seeds in it just from projects, and you can actually grind some lightly budded, seeded up in there.
Because this grinder here, it's got the blades.
Yeah.
As opposed to what you were just
The
talking
other
about.
one won't break up seeds so much as this one will just grind them into
It's
a
got
dust.
just the round posts in there instead.
Right.
I remember those old sweet leaves. I used to have one.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to live in the same house as Jack Hare.
Jack Hare, man.
So yeah, it was a crazy long trip on this weed thing for me.
Give us a cool Jack story, man. What's your favorite memory of
Well,
Jack?
you know, I knew Jack a little before he had the stroke and after he had the stroke. Okay. But my favorite Jack story is just how intelligent he was even after his stroke, and just like he was working on his book and just really, you know, turning me on to like the whole like sacredness of the mushroom in history, and like, you know, possibly, you know, a you know, the whole sacred mushroom and the cross thing. And just
I don't know the whole sacred mushroom and the cross thing. Forgive me, man.
Well, this
Enlighten
guy
me.
wrote this book, and it's like he came up with a theory about how, you know, the mushroom is actually God, and like all the symbolism in the Bible. It's I can't explain it all. I'm not Jack, you know. But so
not Jack.
that's my favorite Jack story. So turn me on to this, and I read more books about it, and you know. About even Santa Claus is based on mushroom shit. You know, did you know that?
No, I've never heard that one,
Oh
man.
you got a lot to learn about that.
I guess, I mean, there's certain mushroom people that think everything has
Well,
that has to do with
like,
mushrooms. They think the evolution of man has to do with, you know, psilocybin.
There's shamans in Siberia, and like they're reindeer herders, and then they follow. The reindeers are everything: food, shelter, everything. So they follow them around, and the reindeers eat this the mushroom, the red and white one, and then so the shamans started eating them too. And Christmas is red and white. Check it out, right? So, no, they start, and then reindeers fly. Christmas is red and white, reindeers fly. And yeah, pretty much. So Jack was into that kind of shit.
Hey man, you filled that grinder twice over.
Yeah, you know, these are big papers. I'm gonna see what I can.
Quite a pile going on over there.
Yeah, I'm maybe roll 2 up, you know.
I mean, that's got to be a good 3 grams there, huh?
Put some hash in it too. The Clout King, made by Frosty the Nugman.
So what kind of hash do you have here?
This is rosin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the paper was bigger, but I'll just roll a couple.
Now, do you pay much attention to what you're blending? Like which hash you choose to put with which flower? Is it more based on flavor? Is it more looking for similar, flavor profiles or effect profiles?
You might have a really terpy weed that doesn't get you high and have a hash that doesn't have much terps but gets you high and mix them up together. But yeah, I just, usually mix up what's on hand.
I see you're using your fingers there. What are you doing with the hash there, man?
I'm gonna make up a little hash worm and put it in there.
You gonna put a crutch in there or go crutchless on this?
I'll probably try and get one in there.
I can see just the heat from your hands change that from that hard paste. It already started. It's getting a little greasy on top there.
Activating the terps.
Nice. I'm getting excited, man. This thing's gonna be tasty. You threw a fat piece of hash in there. That's for sure.
I think that was a gram of hash right there.
You got the whole thing in? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think so.
You got the whole thing in there.
Some people call them donuts. We've been calling them Springfields, because Homer Simpson loved his donuts so much.
You're just taking it that next step.
Yeah. I've been using a lot of those, you've seen people use the pasta for the crutch.
Pasta?
The little spinny pasta noodles.
People are sticking pasta noodles in the ends now?
Yeah, I wish I would have brought some because those are really dope.
Like what kind? Like a...
It's like, I think, rotini. If I was going to say what pasta it actually was.
And, but those things are hollow, though.
No, they spin. It's like a twist.
Okay.
So it comes out in like 2 spirals.
How many times you rolled with the noodle?
I just started doing it, man. That's the real ticket.
What would you say the differences are in? Is it flavor difference? Is it what's going to be the experience difference?
If you really want to know what it is about the noodle,
I'm asking,
when you
yes.
smoke it down, the paper kind of sticks to it, and you see the spiral, and it just kind of looks cool. It's like you see it there, and it's like, what the fuck is that?
Doing something because it is fun, or it just adds some style to it.
Yeah, but I swear it hits better. I'm not going to come up here and say, well, goddamn, 20% more THC when you use a rotini noodle in your joints, but. Did you check these matches out?
No, let's have a look-see. What's special about them?
They're freaking wood.
Yeah, it's classy. There's some style to it.
No butane.
There's no gas. There's no fuel. There's no cheap fuel like you would get from a
Bic lighter.
a Bic lighter or something like that, right? I think clean heat sources are critical in maintaining flavor, so you don't contaminate the joint. That's a fatty. I'm gonna watch how you get that thing going. You're doing it kind of cigar style too there. You kind of lit, kind of blowing on the end.
This thing will do it, I think so.
I think we're about to find out in a very big way.
You usually smoke fatties like this?
Actually, I do. The joint is my preferred way to smoke. I don't typically have hash around, to tell you the truth. So that's going to be different for me. So what I like to do is I like to be careful. Again, similar to the cigar smokers, I like when it's really fat like this and has this big cherry.
You want to get it cool. You don't want to get it too hot.
I don't take these long, big drags, these little puffs.
A lot of people, they don't hit the joint right. They just get it too hot and it's just soft. And
so how would you say is the right way to go about it?
Barely, just soft puffs and barely getting it going. Let it cool down, Classy ashtray like this, let it sit. Talk about some other shit,
Has the joint always been your preferred way to smoke?
You know, when I was a kid, it was like, if you had enough weed to roll a joint, you know, because everyone had pipes and like bongs, and and I was just like, yeah, shit, I want to buy ounces of weed. And when I was a kid, so check it out, my sister got me this Bob Marley cassette. I listened to that and I was just like, damn, Bob Marley, we got to listen to more reggae and smoke weed. These guys are smoking weed. I got off track again, but.
Do you still smoke bongs?
You know, I went through a big period of smoking bongs. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say about Bob Marley. I was like, when I was a kid, I'm like, dude, I want to smoke more weed than Bob Marley, more joints than Bob Marley. And so you had to start getting ounces and quarter pounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll take a
Big
bong
chong
rip.
joints.
I don't really hit the bong too much anymore.
You remember the first time you got high?
I remember I was, up at the neighbor's house, and you know, I think we were in middle school, and I don't know who had the weed, maybe his older sister. But yeah, I remember I got high and my fucking neck felt like a rubber band, and I kept going like that. I was like, whoa, that's the craziest feeling. And then, and dude, so Alf was on TV. So we get high, and my neck's feeling like a rubber band, and Alf, the with the fuzzy dude from Melmac.
The space puppet.
And so I'm watching, and this is the first time I'm high on weed. And I'm like, holy God, this is the greatest show on earth. Fuck, what the hell is going on here? And then I was hooked on weed after that, you know. I got into weed.
It was that first high was good to you.
Yeah, it was good to me, you know. And then, you know, weed has always been good. Like I said, it got me into Bob Marley, pretty much turned me on to Zeppelin. You know, so many cool things like books, you know.
Can you remember when you first started paying attention to what you were smoking and how you were smoking it? That it wasn't just getting high anymore, that it was like, this is different than this stuff I've been smoking.
Yeah, you know, I grew up in the era indoors, like in the Northwest, and you know, I was always into those people doing it organically. Or the organic, you know, choices and lifestyle just appeals more to me than some of the other stuff. Yeah, and being more environmental friendly. I like outdoor weed, you know.
What are the differences to you in the end product?
I mean, you could get all spiritual and say, oh, this vibration is different, and then that vibration.
If I were to stick two flowers right now here on the table, indoor and outdoor, you could tell the difference.
100%.
And so what are those qualities that you notice? How is that obvious?
Well, of course, you know, outdoor weed's exposed to more pathogens, so of course one of the first things you're going to lose is the vibrant color.
Meaning indoor weed, it's not that bright green.
Yeah, well, because it's grown outside and there's things, and it's had a different life.
Because it isn't just about the looks, and as on the whole, we've kind of been trained, you know, that just, oh man, look, it's the killer green, or look how frosty it is.
Right.
But the fact is, you know, we don't look at it for that long. Ultimately, we're going to consume this.
Right.
Care how it tastes? How does it make me feel?
Right. The problem today is no one's into growing for flowers, and that's not the dig. That's not the get down. You know, that's not how people are trying to run it. They're just, you know, trying to do these pins in bottom line and profit. And I never got into it for profit. You know, of course, you know, my whole life's been about herb, and it's done everything for me. But that's because I believed in it and cultivated that.
The breeding world it's kind of tricky. You know, there's people that are breeding, and there's people that are just kind of making seeds, right?
Yeah.
Could you please explain the difference between breeding, okay, and making seeds?
Well, so you know, you could take two plants and put them in the room, and you have seeds. That's not breeding a plant. Like if you went to Southeast Asia and found the seeds, and then you went to, you know, the top of Kilimanjaro or wherever, and you brought those two strains together, and no matter where you did it, if you did it with a Q-tip or you did it in a huge greenhouse, you bred that strain. Plant breeding is bending nature to your will. You know what I mean? It's like there's people that have an idea in mind and something they're trying to do. There's people that throw a bunch of pollen in a fan in a room full of
Hope
leaves.
to get lucky. It's no secret to anybody who knows you. You recently were married.
Yeah, married man.
Yeah. So
Happily,
tell us who you married.
My wife, Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daughter of Tim Blake.
Yeah, so
founder
Tim-
of the Emerald Cup.
Founder of the Emerald Cup.
Far out, man.
Yeah, it's pretty far out, you know. And Taylor and I don't even really remember when we met each other, but I definitely remember when I saw her for the first time when she came to the Emerald Cup, started helping her dad out. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, who's that beautiful girl? Now she's my wife.
Lucky you, man.
Emerald Cup, yeah, it's they put a lot into that. You know, I don't think people see the behind the scenes of everything that goes into that. You know, the heart and the soul of those people.
Yeah.
Everyone that's involved.
Yeah, and I've met, you know, a lot of my favorite growers, cultivators, breeders, you know, are involved in the Emerald Cup. Mean Gene, Swami.
Yeah.
You know, Leo from Aficionado.
Yeah. You know, actually, me and Leo started Aficionado together in my house, smoking cigars. They were not Fuentes, but...
Shut up, man.
Yeah, for
Get
real.
out of here. I had no clue.
Yeah,
Seriously?
Yeah. 100%. And, you know, he went one way. We never had any drama. It was just like...
No, give it to me.
How we started
how did
it,
happen?
we were... It's a crazy story about me and Leo. So finding out, we met over being cigar enthusiasts and smoking cigars. Talked about weed and stuff. And, you know, we're bros, you know, for sure. I don't got nothing bad about that, dude. There was a time when it was like, hey, Aficionado's going this way. And I'm like, hey, I'm not down with that. I'm not going to do that. It was at my house, yo, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do my own thing, you know, and I went on to do other things, which have their own notoriety.
Sure.
But yeah, that's how entrenched I am in this whole seed game, you know. Kushman Massive seeds was a thing at one time. So.
Tell us about, tell us
This Kushman, dude, yeah. He's a magical character.
He is.
I love Kush.
I had one.
He's my brother, for sure.
I've seen a few videos of you guys on YouTube. I could tell you
There's
guys
like
are close.
3 million hits on YouTube of us. We should get the band back together.
Right?
The thing is that we became like, you know, Keith and Mick, and we just, you know, we fight. Like, you know, we're probably both get unbearable, but, you know, it's just passion. You know, everyone's passionate about weed. And that's the thing. We all came together over this plant, right? And now everyone's got these wars we're talking about, but we all were friends at one time because of this plant.
Everybody's trying to establish their identity, you know, get their gig settled.
I just want to be that dude in the back of the room with the warm slice of apple pie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream melting on it, you know, eating it with a smile on my face, right?
That's a wonderful goal.
Yeah, so. Oh yeah, this thing. Take some dabs.
Oh yeah, this thing.
Are you too high or what?
No, man, I'm not too high.
Okay,
Let's do
cool,
it.
Cool.
Let's show. What else did you bring here? Tell us about this.
This is the Puffco.
Lightning. Yes.
Puffco Lightning.
The Puffco.
This one's pretty epic. I
haven't seen the one with the light in the bottom.
I don't know who made the top of this one, but it's a little aftermarket design.
So which of these other
I think
flavors you brought are you going to stick in there? You got to do right by us at this point. You know, we've been working through this crazy hash joint for a while
This is
now.
the Black Apple Hitchcock, made by Frosty. This is a strain that Massive Creations has.
Black Apple Hitchcock.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
A voyage into the future of dabs. What kind of mood did it go? I think we had a failure.
I think we had success.
Right? So smooth.
I gotta be honest with you, Shiloh. I'm not still entirely sold on dabs just yet.
Why not? What's wrong with dabs?
I'll tell you, they're flavorful, but I smoke joints all the time, and I rarely get that cough reflex from that.
Right.
Oftentimes with the dabs, I get that cough reflex, so I don't like that. You know, as far as the experience. The flavor is usually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I find the effects to be immediate, intense. You get this kind of heady rush.
Right.
But then it tends to be very narrow, as opposed to the joint, where I feel it's a fuller experience. I get that body, I get that head.
What do you feel about the hash joint?
That's doubly so.
Let's bring that let's bring that thing back in rotation.
Doubly so with the hash joint. I mean, it's incredibly heavy, even more intense in both head and body effects, I would say.
So you like it or you don't?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I just, what are your thoughts?
I just love weed. I really do. It's helped me with everything I got in my life. I never really had a real job. I delivered pizzas in high school. And I moved away, when I got out of high school, I moved to Hawaii. And that's where I really started, growing weed. I was like, oh, I'm in Hawaii. Like, this is the sweet spot, Hawaiian weed.
Sure.
I remember I went down to buy a 20 sack of weed from this dude I knew, Kiani. And I got it, and it was like fucking amazing, rock hard, but just all big and puffy and like podulated. And I was like, fuck. And I went home and I crushed it up, and it was just full of seeds. And I called him back, and I was like, bro, how much more of that do you have? And I think he had like 3 ounces, and I bought it all. And forever I was just rocking this Hawaiian strain.
And and there it is, because I think that speaks volumes about you, man. A lot of people would get a bud full of seeds and be bummed out, be calling that dealer back and saying they wanted their money back, not how much more could I get. And here you are, okay? How much more can I get? How many more of these seeds can I get my hands on?
Like, I had multiple scores like that. Neville, I got a bunch of seeds from him. I had so many seeds at one time. I had the biggest collection, and then the cops came, And then they took everything, knocked me back a couple blocks. But I remember just thinking about it, and I got to go back to the melons and the Adonais. That when I was locked up, I was like, damn, because there's a project I'd been working on, the first real one, you know what I mean? And then I was like, I hope they didn't get those seeds. And somehow when I got out of jail and I got back to my house, it was destroyed. But I went up into this cupboard, and there was this fucking mason jar, and it had like 5 strains. Dude, I had hundreds, if not 1,000 different strains that I collected since, I was in my 20s. And
to get wiped out is a nightmare.
And
that's your treasure.
Oh,
that's your
God.
hoard.
But I rebuilt it all from those 4 bags of seeds, and that goes back to how much power is in a seed and how much, you could really provide yourself off of it. It's just it's pretty magical.
So what are some future releases we can expect from Massive Creations?
We got a lot of stuff. We got Black Apple Hitchcock, Grape Illusion coming out, we got some lemons. The Melon Hammer is coming out.
Melon Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Tastes like a melon and hits you like a hammer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, we got a lot of, we got a lot of strains, and we're working on some business plans to get them out, and a couple projects.
Very cool.
Where we can, just start dealing with it all.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
I'm excited.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the High Rollers, man. Sharing these crazy stories you have.
It was pretty fucking painless.
Sharing all this great smoke.
Yeah.
I think we will finish up that route you got there.
I like it.
I hope everybody had a good time. I hope you'll join us again on High Rollers. Shiloh and here are going to finish off this killer hash joint he rolled, and see you guys next time.
All right.